Hello everyone and welcome. You are watching the LogTag LT5GEO Distributor Launch webinar. Here you're going to learn everything about LogTag's newest product, the LT5GEO Cellular Data Logger, and I'm excited to teach you guys about it. So let's get into it. Before we get into all the product details, hi, my name is Melanie Arvidsson and I am the Marketing Coordinator here at LogTag New Zealand. If you've not already signed up to our distributor mailing list, that URL is on the screen now, so you can sign up for promotional emails, product launches, launch announcements, and you will be the first to receive any of our marketing assets to aid you in selling our LogTag loggers. There is a version of this webinar as well, which is made for your end users. That link is also on the screen there. So if you have any customers that want to watch a video about the LT5GEO data logger, then you can send them that link that's currently on screen. If you have any marketing questions at the end of this webinar, then you can contact marketing@logtagrecorders.com, or if there are any sales or product queries, then sales@logtag.com. Let's look into what problem it is that the LT5GEO is looking to solve. So customers typically use a data logger to remain compliant within the given industry and to help them identify when a shipment may have been spoiled. The biggest issue with this is not getting reliable and accurate information about the problem or being able to identify where in the process the spoilage took place. All of this information is only provided to the user at the end of the trip when the shipped product has already been spoiled and now needs to be discarded. The shipper is also completely reliant on the receiver to recover the logger and to upload all of the data. If a receiver is unable to locate the data logger, there isn't much that the shipper can do about it, and all of that information is lost. But if a customer starts using the LogTag LT5GEO logger, they will no longer be reliant on the receiver for the logger recovery and data retrieval. As the logger is frequently uploading to LogTag Online, the shipper will already have access to the data that the LT5GEO has been uploading throughout the trip. So even if the receiver can't locate the logger, the shipper already has all of the information that they require to remain compliant. This is significantly beneficial for insurance claims and to help identify at what stage in the journey that the cause of the spoilage of the logistics journey can be identified for future shipments. The shipper will also gain visibility of not only the location of the shipment throughout the LogTag Online and the LogTag mobile app, but also the condition of the shipment while it is still in transit. Customers will get peace of mind that they will receive an instant alert as soon as their shipment has breached any of their set parameters using LT5GEO's 5 sensors, so that they can take action to protect their reputation. This ties in well with LogTag's core philosophy of protecting people, products, and brands. Next, we're going to be looking at the target users. So who's going to get the most out of the LT5GEO? It was created with logistics companies in mind. However, it still can be used for stationary location monitoring if for some reason other products such as the YouTube 30 Wi-Fi is not suitable for that particular customer's needs. On the left here, we can see industry segments that were kept in mind when the LT5GEO was being designed, and therefore will get the most benefit from this logger for their logistics practices. On the right, we have other LogTag data loggers that some of our customers may already be using, and if they are using these loggers, then they could benefit from adding an LT5GEO to their current practices. LT5GEO is targeted at users using it for their most important shipments. The loggers on screen will be their current day-to-day data logging. We have actually created an upsell sheet to be able to provide to these customers who have purchased these loggers on screen to introduce them to the LT5GEO and the many benefits that will come to them based on their current logger in use. If you've signed up to our distributor mailing list, you will have received this already. It is also available through our distributor portal. Other important factors, of course, are the humidity and temperature ranges on screen, which we can see are 0 to 100% relative humidity. And for temperature, if you're looking at degrees, then Celsius, then you're looking at -30 to +70. But if you use Fahrenheit, it's -22 degrees Fahrenheit to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. And here we are, the LT5GEO. Here is a beautiful image of this new data logger. The whole idea behind it is to gain product visibility from the first to the last mile and everything in between. Using LogTag Online, the customer is going to be able to see the conditions of the 5 different sensors throughout the trip. So we've got location, humidity, shock, light, and temperature. And then our top 4 features are instant alerts, GPS location, and auto flight mode, as well as condition visibility. And we'll get into those details a little bit later. This logger is available in both single-use and multi-use options, and then both of those options do also have a rechargeable battery. Now looking into the first 2 sensors are location and humidity. So location means that your customers are able to keep up to date with the location of the shipment without relying on the logistics carrier. The GPS location means that you're always going to be able to see through LogTag online where that shipment is. And based on your requirements, you'll be able to then geofence it so you know as soon as it arrives. Humidity is also dependent on which product that you are shipping, whether this is important to you or not, but it is a great feature to be able to add in for those who do need it. So it's going to make sure that all of your products arrive within the humidity range that you require and make sure they are in tip-top condition when they arrive at location. Next sensors we have shock and light. So while they're not as widely used, shock and light sensors can provide valuable information about the shipment's condition and the current logistics journey. So the shock sensors can tell you not only if your shipment has experienced forces that could damage your goods, but combined with GPS data, it can tell you where it happened. This will help you decide if a particular carrier is meeting their handling obligations and if it is safe to use to ensure that your products arrive in their ideal condition. If they aren't meeting those obligations, then you also have the data to identify the responsible party. Next, looking at the light sensor, they are beneficial to ensure that your products haven't been tampered with. Rather than shipping every item in a tamper-proof package, one data logger with a light sensor is all you need to confirm that your package has not been opened and therefore has not been tampered with. Combine these 2 sensors together. If they are still within the acceptable thresholds, it is safe to say that the package has not been damaged and is not compromised. And then next, another really important sensor is temperature. So of course we've already mentioned, but we'll say again that the temperature range is negative 30 degrees Celsius to plus 70 degrees Celsius, or if you're looking at Fahrenheit, negative 22 to plus 158 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got all of the ranges of temperature accuracy on the screen there for you as well, but I do also need to note the transmission range. So while these temperatures on screen that the logger can record, I have to mention about the range because they are different to the transmission range. To be able to optimize the battery use as transmitting data outside of the ranges on screen, they're going to significantly deplete the battery. So as long as it's within negative 20 degrees Celsius to plus 50 degrees Celsius, or again if you're using Fahrenheit, negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 122 degrees Fahrenheit, then the logger is going to remain transmitting data. Anything outside of those temperature ranges, then it is going to go into saving mode so that it can hold onto that battery and make sure that it's going to last the entire trip. Now into the first top features, we've got instant alert and GPS location. So the LT5GEO is a global unit with cellular connectivity in over 120 countries, and that is really important for instant alerts. So customers will receive instant alerts when there are deviations from the set parameters. They can receive these either by a phone call, email, SMS, or even WhatsApp messages, whatever the customer prefers. This is to make sure that they can be contacted by their preferred method of contact, and they know that they're going to be kept up to date if anything happens within their shipment. Plus, you will also receive SMS or email notifications as soon as the goods arrive within their destination location. So then you know as soon as it's arrived and it's ready to have that shipment completed. You can also get GPS location data from the LT5GEO, as we've already mentioned, but this is really important because it gives you a visibility of the location of your shipment. It's got 5G and 4G cellular network technology, and it's also got a 2G fallback to make sure that it's always going to be within range if there is a cell tower nearby, and able to upload that information that it's been recording to LogTag online. This ensures its reliability. Next 2 top features are auto flight mode and condition visibility. So auto flight mode means that, of course, you're going to be getting all of this cellular technology within the LT5GEO logger, and usually airplanes and cellular technology don't quite mix. So we've made sure that there is auto flight mode on the data logger so that it can still be safe for air travel. So we've already got it approved by various airlines, and that is testament to how safe this one is. The point of auto flight mode is that as soon as it triggers that it is on an airplane, the airplane is taking off, it's going to turn off all of its cellular technology so it is safe for that flight. As soon as it recognizes that the plane is then landing, it then starts that cellular technology again. That entire time it is still going to be recording the condition elements so that you still have all of that data, and as soon as that cellular technology is turned on again, then it is going to be able to start uploading those to LogTag online. Now, as airline approvals are made by each airline individually, we have a full list of the currently approved airlines available on our distributor portal page. The LT5GEO is not classified as a dangerous good, and that means that applications for more approvals are made simple. Now, for condition visibility, if something goes wrong, it gives users the information they need to be able to assess what is unsafe for their products in the journey and to be able to amend it for future journeys, getting to their destination safely and in tip-top condition. So this is using all of the LT5GEO's multiple sensors to be able to say this is the rough condition that your shipment is going to be in, and knowing that it is able to arrive to different destinations with different carriers safely. Next, we need to look over the software needed for the LT5GEO, which is LogTag Online, or LTO for short. Within LogTag Online, there are a range of fantastic features that will grant you the visibility and ease of use that the LT5GEO can deliver. Now, first, if you are shipping goods, then you need to make sure that you have a transit user account. To check if you have a transit user account, first place you can check is on the bottom left corner there, whether you have shipments or dashboard in that left corner. Here we can see that I have a transit user account, so that shipments tab is visible. If you're still in doubt, or you know you need to change your account type, the team owner will need to go to the top right where it says hello and their name. Here it is showing hello LogTag. Then they need to go to manage team. They will see this pop up, make sure they're in the team tab, and then direct to team profile. Here it confirms that we are a transit user. If it says VFC user or general user, then you simply click on the drop down box to select transit user, and then click Save Changes, which will have turned green after you make changes. One of the many benefits of LogTag Online is you can receive all of your data and close the shipment with no need to locate the logger. Once you've received all of the data from the LT5GEO, simply select the shipment from the shipment dashboard to see the ship info pop up that you can see on screen now. When you are sure that you have all of the data that you require, simply click on Complete Shipment. It is just that easy. No more relying on the receiver to locate and download all of that required data for you. Plus, there's no need to worry if the admin personnel in charge of closing these shipments is unable to for whatever reason. If you are set up with geofencing when you configured the logger, you will receive an alert to tell you that your shipment has arrived at its destination. Since the logger has already recognized that it has now arrived at that shipment destination, if it does not close that shipment within the first 2 weeks, then it's going to automatically do that for you while it's at that destination location. Speaking of setting up your logger, that is simple too. Once you're ready to create your shipment, go to the shipment wizard on the top left to start. You will be prompted to select your shipment profile or create a new one. Next, the pop-up will allow us to name the shipment and then define the origin and destination of this shipment. Here we can select from a list of locations we have already used in the past, or like in this example, we are creating a new one. Here we give it a name, define the boundaries of that location. The boundary is particularly important for the destination location because this orange circle here is where the logger will recognize whether it has arrived or not. Next, you will need to confirm the estimated journey length in days, and that will be showing down the bottom there the frequency that the LT5GEO is going to attempt to update the data to LogTag Online to ensure that its battery is going to last that whole trip. Here we are inputting the serial number. Be sure to use the serial number on the front of the logger and not the IMEI number. Once we have added the serial number, then we can assign a device profile or create a new one. Here we can choose a name for this device profile and see all the parameter options available to use when using an LT5GEO logger. Once we input our required parameters, then we are done creating this shipment. And once all of these locations and device profiles have been made for that first time, they will be saved to speed up this process to make it faster for future shipments. Once you are done, you simply click Create Shipment, and you're all done. That shipment is ready to go. If you need help setting up your logger any further than that, we do have a tutorial on our YouTube channel that can help you. Next, I've got some examples of what LTO looks like when you're using the LT5GEO and just what you can see when you're using this logger. If you've received an alert for some reason there's a parameter breach, then you can have a quick look at the notification section of this page. Click here and we will be presented with this pop-up. Now the wording on this is going to depend on which particular parameter has been breached. In this example, we can see that it is a temperature excursion. Next we click on any other type and we will be given this information. Here we are saying that it is a temperature excursion in this case, so the alarm type, which shipment the alarm relates to, and which device has triggered the alarm. We can then take action to protect this shipment. This notification will remain in the Notifications tab until we click Acknowledge right here. If we want to learn more about this excursion, then we can exit this pop-up and select the relevant shipment from the shipment page. Once I've clicked on the right shipment, we will be presented with the shipment information screen that we can see here. Now, one of the other differences with the LT5GEO that we can see within the screen is that we can see the estimated days remaining for the battery use. In the screen, we can also see that there is an alert to say that there is a temperature excursion. In this case, in terms of the battery as well, we can see here that we've got 8 more days worth of battery life remaining for this particular logger. From here, we can navigate the tab that we want to see to learn more about this notification. So let's start with the chart tab, which is right up here on the left. Here we can see both humidity and temperature readings, as those are two of the different sensors included with this logger. Here, temperature is shown in green, but if you were ever unsure, you can just hover over the lines and you will see this box show up on the top right corner. Now that's looking pretty tiny from here, so let's make it a bit bigger for this example. Here you can see that the green line up top is showing a degrees Celsius reading and the blue line at the bottom is showing a relative humidity reading. So now we can easily see which is which if we're ever unsure. Here we can also see that the temperature threshold is showing out of these two options. We can change it to humidity if we would like, but considering this example we're showing a temperature excursion, we'll stick with temperature for right now. Now we can see that this inspection point right here, notified in the little red dot being an inspection point, that is where it has gone into that red section, which is above our threshold. Since when we receive an alert as soon as it is received within LogTag Online, we will have seen this a lot earlier than in this particular example, but we can see that after the inspection, the temperature did quickly go back down within range. So in this example, thankfully, we didn't need to do anything. Underneath it, we can see that there are a light and shock sensor readings. Light is the yellow line and shock is the pink line. And we can use that same trick with the temperature and humidity if we ever need to recall which one is which. Next tab that we can see is the report tab. So here we can see an overall report. If required, there is up in the top left the ability to see every measurement point that was used to build this report. And then lastly is an exclusive feature for the LT5GEO and other geolocation recording data loggers is the map because of the GPS sensor. So now we can see the data logger's current location as well as where any excursions take place. So I can click on that little red marker that's just over there and you will be given this pop-up. Now please do note that again this is made bigger to be able to see it within these slides. But you will still be able to see all of the readings taken at the time of the alert and including which alarm has been triggered. So we can again see that there is a temperature alarm under event. This can help us identify who's responsible for this excursion, as we can see where in the shipment journey that this excursion took place. Next, we can see all the different certifications that are already aligned with this logger. A new one for us is the IATA for the LT5GEO, of course, being able to go on flights. But other than that, those are the main certifications that are aligned with this logger. Now, our key applications for the LT5GEO are also listed on screen. Of course, the key focus is on transportation and logistics of various perishable products. This list, however, is not exhaustive, so customers looking for a rechargeable data logger can still use the LT5GEO. They don't have to be within these particular applications, but this is a good look at what we were thinking about when we made the LT5GEO. In particular, air transportation, of course, was one we really kept in mind. Next is the comparison of our logistics loggers. So if you are a distributor, then you will have already received our logistics comparison chart, but we have now added the LT5GEO to that one, so that is now available on the distributor portal. So let's make that a little bit bigger so that we can see all of the content within it. And here I'm highlighting the main points of difference between the LT5GEO and our other loggers. So the big one being, of course, automatic remote reporting. So that's being able to connect with LogTag online and being able to add all of that information to that portal and being able to see that data while it is still in transit. The way it is able to do this, of course, is that cellular network, which is 4G, 5G, and 2G fallback, which of course is unique to the LT5GEO logger within our range that we are seeing here. We of course have GPS location, humidity, and shock sensors, which again are items that the other loggers in this logistics range do not have, that the LT5GEO do. So these are some quite unique features that the logger has. And that of course helps with the condition visibility we've already talked about. Another difference here is that the LT5GEO has 3 months of battery compared to the other loggers. The benefit, however, is that it does have a USB-C rechargeable battery, so you can charge it rather than having to replace it. So although it is only 3 months, if you do have the multi-use version, then you can just keep recharging it and send it off again. Now we also have some launch activity that we have planned in the works. Once we are sure of when we're going to be launching it for customer sales, I will have a social media pack that we're working on at the moment that I will be able to send to everyone so that we can all be posting and making sure that everyone is aware of the LT5GEO as it comes. Once that is confirmed, we will also have the product page live on logtagretorters.com. I've also got the customer version of this webinar. Those links will be live on our YouTube channel for anyone to be able to see just by going on the public page. The social posts that I will be including in the pack, we will also be getting those live, starting with a post announcing the LT5GEO to those end users. An end user email will also be announced, giving it out to our mailing list so that everyone who signed up will be aware of this new launch. If you are not already subscribed to our end user mailing list, but you do want to see what our end users see, then that list is there. Or if you would like any of your end users to receive information directly from us, then that is the link that they should also be using. Now for some common questions about the LT5GEO. First one being, how long will the 5G multi-trip logger last? So the LT5GEO multi-trip logger comes with a rechargeable battery and it comes with a 12-month data plan. So assuming you've got the multi-trip, of course, you can just use it continuously throughout that period. However, if you do need to extend it past those 12 months, then another subscription will need to be purchased. Once all of the data memory has been used, can it be reset to 0 and begin again? So actually, one of the main advantages of the LT5GEO is being able to connect to LogTag online. So while it has 16,032 available onboard recordings, it actually has more when you look at LogTag online. So it's only really going to need that number of recordings for its longest sea freight journey outside of cell coverage. because as soon as it is within cell coverage again, it's got access to LogTag Online, which has more than 1 million recordings available to you. So if we are assuming that the logger is logging at 10-minute intervals, it has enough memory space for 111 days, so that's more than the longest journey that I am aware of. With the multi-trip logger, once the trip is completed, can the receiver then configure it for a new trip? So if it is set up correctly within LogTag Online, it can be set up that the receiver can hit the start and check button to be able to stop and start the logger. However, LogTag Online access is actually required to be able to complete the shipment within LogTag Online. You will also need LogTag Online to be able to start a new shipment. So these two features are only able to be done in LogTag Online. Next question is, should each receiver or destination point have access to LogTag Online? And it really depends on each use case. You do have the ability to give receivers access to view and manage shipments, but we do recommend that the admin person keep manage shipment creation and closure to themselves to keep that bit of control, especially because you need to make sure that the LogTag LT5GEO has uploaded all of its data before you close your shipments. Now, we've got a little example here of what the LED status indicators mean on the LT5GEO. These first two here, you don't need to do anything. Once you've started the logger, one of these two will be showing. So first one is one blink for every 4 seconds. We've got the green one going at the moment, and this just means that the logger is logging normally. If it's going red, however, still every 4 seconds, it is still logging normally, but you do have an environmental parameter excursion, so there's some sort of excursion outside of your parameters. If we have it blinking once every 8 seconds, so this can be, again, either green or red, it just means that logging has stopped, so someone's told the logger to stop. And green, of course, means it is okay, and then red is outside of those parameters. If we've got the solid green going for 3 seconds, and that's if you press the start check button for 1 or more second, all of these other ones as well, then the battery is okay and there's no known connection issues. If it's solid red for 3 seconds, however, this means that the battery is low, but again, there's no known connection issues. It's still uploading to LogTag Online as normal. However, if you have flashing green, the battery is okay, but it's had a connection issue, so that means that it hasn't been able to upload to LogTag Online. Maybe you're out of cell service, and it's going to try again to be able to connect to LogTag Online. If you've got this flashing red, then similar thing, connection issue, but the battery is also low. So the battery is going to be indicated at low if it is at 20% or lower. Next, if you've got it solid red, then this means you've connected to a power source and the logger is currently charging. If you've got solid green, it's still connected to that power source, then your charging has completed. Next question is, how should the battery status be checked and maintained? So for multi-use data loggers, charge the battery after every trip is our main recommendation. This makes sure that it's got enough battery to make sure it lasts the entire trip. You can check the status of the battery by checking the status button for 1 second, as we've already gone through in the different indicators slide. If you are using a single or multi-use data logger that has been stored for an extended period of time, then we also really recommend charging both of these loggers. Single-use loggers do have a rechargeable battery. This is because of the type of battery we've used to make sure it is able to be safe for air travel. It does mean that if it is stored for a long period of time, it can discharge some of that battery. So you should still really charge your single-use loggers if it has been stored for a long period of time. What should be done if data is missing after closing a shipment on LogTag Online? So you really should be closing a shipment only after you have retrieved all of the data and verify that it is within LogTag Online. Because once you've closed the shipment, it's not going to be able to attribute the data to that shipment. Now, if you are using a logger that you know has arrived, but you really need that data and you need to be able to close that shipment before the transmission cycle comes up next, then you can actually force the LT5GEO to connect early by pressing that Start Connect button again. If you see a green light, this means that it has successfully connected to LogTag Online and it is uploading that data. And you will be able to see the data in LogTag Online shortly. If there is no light, meaning that the data is out of battery, You can plug in the unit into a laptop or PC using a standard USB-C charging cable and retrieve all of the data that way. How does the logger's duration affect its cellular transmission interval? Now, like we saw in our previous example, when we are setting up the logger, how many days we're expecting the logger journey to last, that's when LogTag Online is going to calculate how long the battery is likely to last and how many transmissions it can do within that time. So, for example, if you've got a 1 to 3 day trip, then the data logger is going to be able to send up every hour. Whereas if it's between 57 and 90 days, then the transmission is going to be every 24 hours. This is to make sure that the battery is going to last that entire trip. The only exception to this is with alarms and alerts. So when an alarm or alert has been triggered, that's going to force the LT5GEO to transmit its data, so you are notified as soon as the alert has been triggered. Transmission time calculations do also allow for delays, so if there is a slight delay in your shipment, then your logger should be able to have enough battery for the rest of that trip. If you are experiencing delays, you are able to see within LogTag Online how much battery is estimated to be remaining within that logger. If, however, there is a seriously long delay and the battery level starts running low while it is still in transit, the unit is actually going to disable the cellular modem. This prioritizes environmental monitoring to make sure that you get all of the data that you require. Once the shipment has arrived, you can plug in that unit to a standard USB-C charger, at which point the modem is going to kick back in as it's now got another power source and transmit all of that remaining data. However, if this fails, then you can also retrieve the data over that USB-C connection directly connected into your PC. What happens if the LT5GEO can't send data due to no cellular coverage? So it's going to switch to power saving mode to make sure that it's got enough battery to be able to get all of those environmental recordings for you. It's going to try to connect every 24 hours because it's going to try to conserve that battery to make sure, again, that it's going to last the entire time. The exception to this is when an alert or an alarm has been triggered. So as soon as one of those have been triggered, it's then going to try to make that transmission as soon as possible so that once it's got that cellular data coverage, then you are going to be alerted about that environmental excursion. There is also a USB recovery tool. If logging data can't be sent, you can plug the unit into a standard USB-C charger, at which point the modem is going to turn back on and start transmitting that data. Or you can connect it to a laptop and retrieve the data that way. Is there an expiry date for the SIM card and battery? So the SIM card does not expire before you start using it. The battery may need to be charged, as we previously mentioned, if the logger has been stored for an extended period of time, which of course we've already recommended is the same case for the single-use loggers. Next, what are the costs for phone call, SMS, WhatsApp, and email notifications? Users will need to purchase notification units, which are sold in bundles of 500. The pricing of these vary depending on which country you're in and can be purchased through your distributor. The cost of how many units per notification also varies. In the US, an SMS notification is going to cost 1 unit, while a WhatsApp notification will cost 2. Email notifications are provided at no additional cost. How do you get more than 2 users on an account? Users need a current subscription to have more than 2 users per team. There is also an account setup fee, which will vary depending on which country you are in. And would other strong G-forces such as a truck executing an emergency stop also trigger auto flight mode? So thankfully the answer to that is no. Auto flight mode uses multiple sensors to make sure that only a plane taking off is going to trigger it, and that a plane coming into land is what's going to make it start transmitting again. And that brings us to an end. That is all of the information on the LT5GEO. I hope you guys found that informative and that you're excited for this new logger, excited for your customers to be using it and to be selling it. So if you don't have any of our new assets, marketing assets to be able to help sell the LT5GEO, then they're all on our distributor list. But again, to make sure that you are the first one of the first people to receive it as soon as it's available, make sure to sign up to our distributor mailing list. If you have any questions about this webinar, you can contact marketing@logtagrecorders.com, or sales and product queries, you can contact sales@logtag.com. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new and are ready to start selling this logger. See you next time.